this video is going to be a little bit different than the videos I've done before because I am going to have ChatGPT ask me questions as if it was a virtual assistant on how to get started as a virtual assistant. So this is not scripted at all. I'm even going to use a blank ChatGPT. I am going to go ahead now and screen record so you guys can see that it is a blank ChatGPT. So I'm going to put ChatGPT here on the side. And essentially I'm gonna give it instructions live for you. Pretend that you are an aspiring virtual assistant and ask me different questions on how to get started, what it's like, go through the deep things, and I will answer back to you. And we'll go basically have this conversation back and forth. Again, you are a virtual assistant or an aspiring virtual assistant and you just wanna know the details about how to get started. And this will be on a YouTube video, so you better put in your best foot forward so then other people are impressed by you. You got it?
Sure thing. What skills do you think are most important for a brand new VA to focus on learning first? Could you give me an idea of what a typical day looks like for a VA, especially when they're just starting out? What are some of the big challenges or surprises you faced when you started working with a VA for the first time? And if it's helpful, maybe you could share a quick table of the main tools or platforms you recommend for someone just getting started, like what I should learn first. Let me know your thoughts.
All right, let's do the first question first. Your first question was, what are the skills, right? First skills that they should learn?
Absolutely. So in terms of skills, I'd say a new virtual assistant should definitely focus on...
I'm supposed to be the one answering these questions. So I'm gonna answer your question first. So essentially on the first kind of skills that definitely a virtual assistant should learn is, first one, honestly, is the art of asking questions. If you learn the skill of knowing how to ask questions and when to ask questions to your client, this is gonna be a skill that's gonna be unmatched for when you actually start working with your client. And the biggest reason for this is when it comes to working with anyone, whether it's your client might have other assistants as well, or you might be working in a team, knowing how to ask questions and when to ask questions is gonna be a key thing for you to be able to do, because once you learn how to ask questions, it's the same thing as learning how to prompt on ChatGPT, is you learn how to ask the question and getting basically the answer that you need or the help that you need, whatever that looks like for you and your client or the team member that you have. So that's the first one. It's not really a particular specific skill, but honestly, if more virtual assistants learn how to do this, their life is a little bit easier, their client's life is also a little bit easier. The second skill that I recommend for an assistant to really learn, especially if you're just getting started, is learning how to document things. It's learning how to create things like your templates for like emails or like for the agenda for calendars. It's learning the skill of how to create standard procedures of how to do checklists of what are you supposed to be doing every single day, every single week, every single month. That way you don't miss a thing. And whether you are an admin virtual assistant, social media assistant, whether you are a sales or an AI automations assistant, having the skill of documenting, of making sure that you're creating a way for you to basically look back and know what were the things that got done and to look forward on the things that needs to still get done. It's going to make your life a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, no matter what skill. Now, if you had to ask me specifically what kind of virtual assistant you can get started with, I always recommend starting as an admin virtual assistant, because when you're an admin virtual assistant, you're kind of exposed to a lot of different roles and different skills and different tools. That way you are also able to fully know where you want to go, like where you want to get started. Like a lot of our assistants at 2XU, which is my virtual assistant company, a lot of them started out as admin assistant and they became marketing assistant later on, or sales assistant, because then you start experiencing and actually learning how to do a lot of this work, a lot of these tasks and this job. They can then start actually doing them moving forward. Any skill or any type of virtual assistant can pay well if that is the concern. It's now up to you what problems you're solving for your client to be able to want to pay you that well. So does that answer your question? And basically ask, what was your next question?
Absolutely, that answers it perfectly. Thanks for diving into that. And for the next question, let's talk about what a typical day looks like for a new VA. So I'd love to hear what that day-to-day routine might be, especially when they're just getting started.
Perfect. So the day-to-day for a virtual assistant, I always recommend that you start your day going through, either you already set up your checklist, so you want to end your day with this, as you go through the checklist of what was done and what needs to get done still. That way you can have a good preview on what the priorities are for the day. So you want to start with prioritizing what are the tasks that if you were able to get this one thing done, the rest of your day is so much easier and so much faster. So whatever that is, you want to make sure that that's the first thing that you start doing, that you start chomping on. That way the rest of your day doesn't feel as urgent, doesn't feel as busy, because you already got the big thing done, right? So then you want to space out what are the habits that you also want to do within the day. So for example, for some of our assistants, they start their day by meditating, working out, journaling, reading something. So they're setting the tone for their day as they get started on that big task. And then the rest of it is then making sure that you check in with your client sometime in the morning or the afternoon, depending on their time zone and what works for the two of you. That way you guys are able to sync up, whether that is a call, like a Zoom call, or just syncing with them over WhatsApp. When I'm traveling a lot, me and my assistant Honey, we just sync basically over WhatsApp, because I might be like moving around and traveling and going to different places, so it works for us. So having a sync with your client is, so it's habits, it's then what's the big thing that you can do, then syncing with your client to make sure that you guys are aligned, and then making sure that as you're going through the day, your priorities is you're taking breaks, you're eating, you're drinking your water, you're taking care of yourself, because when you're a virtual assistant, a lot of this is longevity, is making sure that you are taking care of yourself, so you're taking care of your future self, so you can actually keep showing up for work, whatever that looks like for you. So I would say that's typically what you would expect. Different virtual assistants will have different experiences, but that's kind of a typical flow. Yeah, what's your next question?
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for laying that out so clearly. So next question. What are some of the big challenges or surprises you ran into when you first started working with a VA? Let's dive into any kind of bumps in the road you think new VAs should be prepared for.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so as from the point of view, basically as a client, the bumps usually when it comes to starting with a new virtual assistant, and this is something that everyone goes through, the first thing is communication. A lot of relationships, even with a very experienced assistant and a client who's experienced working with other assistants before, a lot of the breakdown usually happens when there's not a clear communication line of how often does the client expect to be communicated? Is it every other hour? Is it just once a day? Whatever that looks like. And it can differ depending on the project that you guys are working on. But the communication part is key. It needs to be a system basically that you guys are already doing, that you guys are working on. That way it's then easier for you guys to work together moving forward. The second thing that could be really, really hard is when you guys are not aligned on values, and same thing with expectations. So if you are a kind of virtual assistant where you do love talking, you do like yapping, those are usually my very favorite types of assistant, is when they're a yapper. But your client might not be. They might want you to be a little bit more reserved or professional. Then it might be not a match values-wise or character-wise there as well. And another one is, what are your client's expectations on how you get the work done? Do they care what gets done or how things get done? Because it's going to be very important to know what they expect to see from you, what outputs they see from you or they need to see from you. So then you're aligned on what these things are supposed to be and making sure that they actually get done in the way that they expect. That way you kind of know the parameters as a virtual assistant of what you can play with, what you can do, and what you can't do working with your client as well. So I would say that those are the top three, are just communication, values, and expectations, and making sure that right off the bat, as you're starting to work with your client, that you have clarity on what that looks like, so it's easier. So yeah, that's basically it. So go ahead and ask your last question, and then we'll be wrapping this up.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing those insights. So my last question is, could you maybe put together a quick table of the main tools or platforms a new VA should learn first? That way we can kind of visualize the essentials.
So first platform I recommend is just being familiar with the Google Workspace. So this is Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, whatever that looks like, because if you learn that, it's easy for you to also learn Microsoft Office if that's what your client is using, or any other tool as well that requires documentation of one sort or the other. The other tool that I recommend that you start learning to use is ChatGPT, hence this video. It's learning how to use AI tools to your advantage. It's learning how to prompt. It's learning how to ask really good questions. It's learning how to not be too scared of AI and using it as a tool rather than something that hinders you or slows you down when it comes to getting things done. The third tool or platform that I recommend is just LinkedIn. If you are able to position yourself in the right way on LinkedIn, if you're still looking for jobs, or even as you already are working with your client, it's going to be a game changer for you to make it easier for you to find your next client or find your current client, or boost their basically where they're at as well. So LinkedIn is a good platform for positioning yourself as an expert or as a virtual assistant that they want to work with and they want to hire. So the more that you boost and work on your LinkedIn profile, the easier it is going to be, again, to find your next client, or with your current client to engage with them, to be able to boost their posts as well and engage with them there. It's just a good and easy way for you to be able to bump up how you show up online as well. Another platform that I recommend, and I'm very, very biased with Notion, just because for Notion, it is our project and task tracker into XU. It's where we have all of our documents. It's where we kind of have all of the mind hive into XU and make everyone else's lives a little bit easier, whether we're onboarding someone or offboarding someone. The whole process is there, so it makes it easier for us to know and follow the same kind of process throughout, inside of everything, every part of 2XU, whether it's marketing, sales, our admin, our EAs. They see the processes and how it works, so we're always creating repeatable results.
Perfect. That's a really solid rundown.
Basically, at this point, you've done really well. You've asked me really good questions. Can you give me your top 3 action steps based on what we just talked about?
Absolutely. Let's do that. So here are the top 3 action steps based on everything we talked about. First, start getting comfortable with Google Workspace. That means dive into Google Docs, Google Sheets, and a bit of Google Forms, so you've got that baseline document in skill. Second, spend some time learning how to use AI tools like ChatGPT. Get comfortable with asking questions and using it as a tool in your toolkit. Third, if you want to get ahead, set up or polish your LinkedIn profile. That way you can start positioning yourself as a VA and connect with potential clients, or just get more visibility. So those are the 3 steps I'd recommend. You've done awesome so far.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's basically it. Like you guys can see on my iPad, basically just grabbed the transcription of what we talked about. It went back and forth. And now this becomes kind of a guide for you guys as well. Hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of insight on how you can use ChatGPT yourself. I know a lot of people who use it in a lot of very interesting ways, and also hopefully answered some of the questions you guys might be asking or wondering as a virtual assistant. And if you guys like this video and if you want me to do more kinds of this video, let me know in the comments below, and of course make sure to hit that like button. And if you want more content on how to be able to get started with a career online, especially with AI, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there. And if you guys want more content on how to get started with a business and AI, make sure to subscribe to my second channel right there, and of course check out the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and with that, small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.